If my grandchild asked me, how many balloons do I need to fly like a bird? Well, I asked, why do you want to fly? I would just like to feel really free, she said. Flying is not enough, my dear, I told her. For freedom, ideas matter. Bold ideas matter. Passionate vision. Liberal vision that addresses the concerns of families and individuals. And those ideas need to be taken to the people directly and clearly. Only then, liberal movement, as a cornerstone of freedom, will be stronger. Only then Europe will be stronger, and you, my friend, will be free as a bird. But if you ask me how many balloons, I would say minimum 120. But these balloons cannot be filled with just hot air. These balloons need to be filled with strong liberal vision to make liberal Europe stronger.
Thank you. And now, please, can we launch the video for Hans van Baalen?
I'm Hans van Baalen. We know each other for many, many years, from Liberal International, ELDR and ALDE. I have a background in international business at Deloitte. I'm committed to a free market economy and international trade, because a strong economy makes it possible to invest in our planet. I fight together with you for civil liberties and human rights. As VVD campaign manager, I've been able to get out the vote. Of course, it was teamwork, but I have the experience. I want to do the same as your party president. Being the fourth group in the European Parliament is simply not good enough. I do not want to be a presidential president, but I want to be your hands-on president, strongly committed to serve a full term, and if you want, other terms. I will be your grassroots fighter for liberalism. For me, all the members of the ALDE Party Bureau are equally important. No first vice presidents. We will work together as a team, dedicated to strong involvement of the member parties. I want to use the Dutch EU presidency to keep Britain in. I want a permanent campaign for more votes and more seats done in the member states, and of course assisted by Brussels. I want to involve young people, women, entrepreneurs, minorities. I want to involve you. And I ask for your support. Liberals must unite.
I do support our hands-on president, Hans van Baalen. He is the right man for the job. And I do hope that we can count on your support too.
I know Hans van Baalen already for many, many years. His heart is a true European. He knows how to incorporate the interest of business. Europe needs the UK to be in, and he is a fighter for that.
Hans is not a stranger. We know each other for decades. Hans is solid, he has content, he is a fighter, he is a liberal, and he is really a people's manager. So what is it for you? Just Hans.
I know Hans to stand firmly against all forms of discrimination, and it is therefore that I unequivocally support Hans as a hands-on president.
Thank you. So, two very different videos, two very different men. You've seen them on screen. Now let's meet them live. Please give a very, very warm welcome for your two candidates, Sim Callis and Hans van Baalen. Thank you. Welcome. Thank you. Right. Gentlemen, I trust you are ready for this evening's debate. Good. I shall just take my seat in the revolving chair. Bear with me. I'm now going a little bit lower, as you see. Right. First, if I may, can I turn to Sim Callis? You now have 5 minutes in which to address the delegates and to expand on what we heard in your video. And a clock is here for you to guide you so that you know when to finish. The next 5 minutes are yours, sir.
Thank you very much, and dear liberal friends. I hope you enjoyed my accent. I must say that I borrowed this accent from Finnish Formula drivers, who have won several championships. We heard today during the opening ceremony many brilliant speeches from Graham, from Guy, from Xavier Bettel. Europe, of course, is facing very tough times. But ALDE is a political party, and political party is created to make politics. And I think that my idea is to increase the influence of, political influence of liberal movement and ALDE in particular. And I think this is not like in Olympic Games. Participation is not enough. First, we have to develop pan-European liberal policies which differ from others, which are our own, and which can bring political benefits to all our member parties. For instance, should we abolish corporate income tax, as we did in Estonia? Is that an interesting idea? Second, we need more money for our party. More money, more influence, more clear liberal policies, then money will come as well. Third, of course, we need more seats in national parliaments and in the European Parliament as well. As I said, ideal is 120 seats, but of course it's considered that if we have 120, then we are really serious policy makers and decision makers at the European Parliament. You know, I am a man of ideas, and I have pursued liberal policies during all my life. You saw one of my grandchildren, and I very much want that my grandchild will live in freedom, in peace, in prosperity, and the sea level will remain the same, that this coast will not flood it. Thank you very much.
Hans van Baalen, you now have 5 minutes in which to address the delegates and to expand on what we heard in your video presentation.
With pleasure. Yesterday evening, we had, like always with the Liberal Democrats, a fair and free fight for the votes. There were 10 candidates for the vice presidency and 2 for the presidency. And I have not heard things which I said, my gosh, I don't agree. Because we are all liberals. We agree on economic terms and also on human rights. But it's also about the person. Who is Sim, who is Hans? I'm, like I said, the hands-on president, and I want to do things, just to do it. We speak about peace, important, we write notes, but I must say the most self-defining moment for me was when I was a peace officer in Bosnia. And in this godforsaken country then, old people live without electricity in the winter, without glass in their windows. Young people had no future. Politicians were to a large extent corrupt, didn't fight for their country. And it was an honor and a privilege to have a small contribution to stability in this country and to economic growth and to human rights. It was a small contribution, but it was an honor to do this with soldiers from the whole European Union. It was a defining moment for me. If you look at equal rights, men and women, gender equality, you don't just talk about it. What you have to do is appoint women when you can and support them and to elect them. That is the thing, not talk, but doing. I was a member of the selection committee and chairman for the Council of The Hague. We have now equal men and women in the The Hague Council for VVD. We have 6 ministers, 3 are excellent women. So it's not just to talk about equality, but just do it. Secondly, if we talk about LGBTI, about the same rights, the respect for the people, it's not enough to think yourself that people are equal. You have to go out on the streets and to campaign. I did so with Sophie Innertveld from D66. I tabled resolutions with Marietje Schaake on equality and LGBT in Russia. And it was a privilege, just a young member of parliament, to be active in writing a bill for the same-sex marriage. I defended it, and it was possible to get also the Conservative aboard, because it should be a national issue. Campaigning in South Africa. So LGBTI, not only think about it, but just do it. Promote those rights, speak out, don't be silent. When I chaired manifesto committees with people like Gordon Lischman and Cecilia Malmström, we got liberals together. And that is what I want to do. I don't want to compete with the political leadership in the member states, because the member parties not only elect us, they own us. It's not to compete with the parliamentary group, but we are not an appendix of the parliamentary group. We should work together. And that is the role of a party chair. It's not to be imperial, it is to bring people together, to respect people, to bring the best out of people. It is to help parties which are new with campaign techniques. It's just to be there, like I was with Naumann Foundation FDP. So I want to be your hands-on president and just do it together with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Hans van Baalen. Thank you both, gentlemen. I'm now going to put my back to you and speak to the audience in this lovely chair, as you can see that I'm mastering so well. Now we're going to move into a 25-minute question and answer session. Now, wow, you are keen. Can I just say some strict rules? Oh, you can leave now. Okay. Delegates, this is your chance to pose questions to the candidates. Now, for reasons of timing, there are strict rules. The first is this. I'm going to take 3 questions from the floor, and then I'm going to pose 1 question that has already come in on Twitter. Now, in order to give the candidates ample opportunity to cover a lot of ground, I'd like to group those 3 questions under 3 top-line topics, and that is foreign policy, economy and trade, and social policies. Now, each candidate, in each case, will have 3 minutes to answer, and I'm going to rotate between the candidates as to who answers first. Now, delegates, here's the big one. Please make sure that your question is concise, or I genuinely will cut you off. Okay? So, no rambling, no statements, no rhetoric. We simply do not have the time. If you can, please do focus on an issue that has not already been covered in the presentations or that hasn't been covered in the campaigning videos that you may already have seen online. And most importantly, please do remain in your seats, otherwise I'll tell you off. All right, so those are the rules. Everything clear? Good. Right. Can I have some hands up, and I'm going to just listen to some questions and take the first one from the floor. Remember, I said foreign policy, economy and trade, social policies. Do you know, I'm staring into the light. The lady there, yes. I'm very happy to take a question from lady first. Can I hear what it is, please?
Yes, my name is Petra Stienen, D66 senator. I love men of a certain age. But how can the future of Europe recognize themselves in your policies and what you're going to do as ALDE president?
Okay, interesting question. They both did address. You don't think so? Can you bear with me a moment? I will not be heckled, but I take it into account. Hang on a second. Who else? The gentleman here. Yeah, let me just hear. Thank you.
What are you going to do about Russia?
Okay, and hang on. Okay, let me hear a third question from the floor. Okay.
What kind of grassroots experience do you have which would make you the legitimate candidate?
Okay, right. So first of all, thank you very much. I'm just going to turn around to give you an opportunity to talk more about foreign policy. We're going to take the question that the gentleman raised about Russia, okay? And you can use that as a springboard to expand on the topic in general. Sim Callas, I'd like to turn to you first, and please do use that as a possibility to talk in general about foreign policy issues, but do aim to answer the gentleman's question. You have 3 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And of course, Russia is particularly close to the heart of an Estonian. Of course, we need strong European foreign policy, and it has been made stronger after the creation of External Action Service. Before it was quite general that still the big countries, of course, dealt without the European Union. It is still the case. In all these Minsk agreements, European High Representative was not present there. So at European level, we need to have a firm foreign policy and clear and common positions defended by all countries. And concerning the Russian sanctions, it has played very well. So far, it always has been already for a long time. There has been some kind of fear from one side and hope from other sides that the front will be broken. Front keeps firm at this moment.
Okay, thank you. Hans van Baalen.
We should not sell out Ukraine, Georgia, Moldova and other countries. Where Russia has decided to set aside international law and to invade countries and to annex parts of those countries, we should know if we let this go, the same will once happen to Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania and other countries. Putin must know he has to abide by international law, period. And it means maybe we can work together concerning IS, although Putin bombed the moderates in Syria and not IS as such. We can work there, but we won't sell out. We have to be tough and honest, and we stand by our allies in Central and Eastern Europe. That's the policy. Thank you.
Right. These gentlemen have been so concise. I'm going to go back to the lady. She's the one who first raised her arm. So you want to find out more about how these gentlemen can appeal to youth? Can you rephrase your question, please? I'm sure we will hear you. I will catch it. Yes, I can hear you.
It's basically about diversity. It's about Ahmed, it's about Andre, it's about Anita and Amina recognizing themselves in what you have to offer for Europe.
Okay, very good question. Right. This time, I'm going to turn, please, to Hans van Baalen first. The floor is yours. You have 3 minutes to answer.
There are also on the vice presidential candidates bench young people. But it's for you to decide whether you will elect them. But we should have young people also in this bureau. Secondly, what I want to do is take people seriously. Young people are committed to politics, maybe not so much to political parties, but we should use internet, we should use their energy, and I've done so from the first dates in politics myself with the Young Liberals, Ivory, Limek and others, and I will continue to do so because I'm a young man, I'm just in the early 50s, but I'm young at heart and we will make this work together with young people. Thank you very much.
Just, If I may allow, because you've been so concise on time, I think the lady also, and I've got this very funny position here, wanted to speak about diversity, about how everybody. Can you also touch, please, on not just youth, but diversity of youth, different ethnic origins, people of different religions? How can they feel included?
That can only happen if you meet people. A lot of people go on holiday, for instance, to Turkey, but they don't meet Turkish people. They're in the sun. What we should do is have much more exchanges between not only universities, but also between schools. You have to get people not only to the European Parliament, National Parliament, on meeting people. The first time here in Budapest, where I worked together with the young liberals then, it was for me an experience because they were not different. They were the same as people in Amsterdam or in Berlin or in London. So meet people, and then you will see we're all alike. Thank you.
Sim Callis, can you answer this question about appealing to youth and in particular a real diversity of youth?
Of course, in Estonia, for some reasons, we have always had a political elite very young. And I myself have promoted these young people to be ministers, to be on more, on any important posts. And today you have very young prime minister and young government, and this is our party's government. So I have always enjoyed the work with young people and young teams. And as I understand, they have enjoyed the work with me as well. Concerning the diversity, it is, of course, it's a question of tolerance of people and to understanding their concerns. I think that we should work, of course, more to understand the young communities, and these are a little different. Even entrepreneurship, I see that there are people who, let's say, so my generation is very local. Young generation is very international. So it is a major change. And we, of course, must cope with this, and we understand and support it as well. Very important question. Should we support young people working, leaving our country and going to work in other countries? I always have strongly supported this possibility, because this is not so obvious that people think that it is a disaster, people leave. So Europe has offered a lot of opportunities for young people. And of course, concerning the gender balance, first government in the Eastern European countries where we had half ministers women and half ministers men, it was my government. And it was 2002, and our, whatever is consecutive one government, second government was again a liberal government led by a Reform Party. So I think that we can cope with diversities, but of course we should understand also people, their thinking, which is different from this, where when I was student, for instance, 45 years ago.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, both. Right, so we've touched on foreign policy, we've touched on social policies. Does somebody have a question that might come under the general top line, economy and trade? Gentleman here, gentleman here. Who's that? There, sorry. You're hiding. I'm not ignoring you. Hang on, this lady first, yes. Yeah, can you? Thank you. Ooh.
Trade is also about the economy, whether or not we want a green or black economy. I personally believe that the future of our economy should be green. I would like to hear what the two candidates have to say.
Okay, thank you. So, whether the future of the economy should be green, I will start with you this time, Sim Callis.
Of course, it moves towards more green economy and more green environment. It has changed tremendously. Again, if we remember older time, it was of course completely different. And we should be as green as we can. And we promote new technologies, promote energy saving, promote other sources of renewable sources of energy, and we have done it. Also, we have done it in my country, and we have done it at European level as well. And when I was transport commissioner, then during this period, transport was the only sector in the economy where the CO2 emissions came down.
Hans van Baalen.
Thank you very much. We can't deny global warming. We can't deny climate change. It's there. And we have to be very practical. We have made, let me say, deals, for instance, in 2030 to go down with the emission levels with 40%. That we should do. We should work with the Americans and the Japanese, because if Putin and also the president of China will determine green economy, it will not work. We have to talk with industry. You saw Mr. Ben Verwaayen, who is also dealing with climate change and energy. We have to do it, and we have a lot of expertise. The most important thing is what we can do to help India, because Indian people want a car too and a refrigerator, and they have the right to do so. The Chinese have the right to do so. So we have to share our knowledge, our expertise, and work together with these countries, because they make the big difference. Let's do so, let's help them, let's cooperate, and just do it. Thank you.
Okay, I can take another question from the floor. So I've already exceeded my own rules, I think, because the answers are so concise. The lady here, the blonde lady here, please. This isn't positive discrimination on my part. I'm just delighted to see the ladies raise their hands.
I would like to know what kind of initiatives you will take to get growth back to Europe so we can fight unemployment.
Okay, thank you. A very clear question there. Hans van Baalen, may I put that one to you, please?
First, we should support Cecilia Malmström, Commissioner for Trade, who is now negotiating with the United States to get a free and fair trade deal, a transparent one, a more democratic one, not all kinds of backdoors issues, but an open one. Support Cecilia on TTIP. That's vital. Support Cecilia on other trade agreements, and make it easier for young people to start their own business, for self-employed people. Away with the red tape. There's so much red tape. And what we should do indeed is to advance that universities and companies work together. Let's do it, let's help, but we know one thing, it's to the people to do it, and I want to favor private enterprise where I can. Sustainable, green, but free at first. Thank you.
Thank you. Sim Callis, how are you going to get the economy going and create jobs?
I think the first issue is what I have seen during my being as Vice President of the European Commission. It is in the Europe is trust to private entrepreneurship is declining. And so, do we support private entrepreneurship and private capital and private investments? Investment banks say very clearly, private money goes to private sector. Are we ready to privatize more? I think that this can help a lot, because the concentration today is more based on, and the focus is based on state-owned economy, which is not a good idea. Second big issue is, of course, labor mobility. A lot of talks, but still a lot of barriers exist between member states and also inside member states, between different lobby groups, different interest groups. We need more labor mobility. We need also look at education, which must be harmonized some way, that certificates of skill certificates can be used in other countries as well, and the freedom of establishment and free movement of people. There are a lot of barriers. So these are two things. We must encourage private entrepreneurship, create a favorable environment for private entrepreneurship. Then we create also favorable environment to investments and to reduce the labor market rigidity. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so do we have another question? I will come to you, sir. I will come to you. This lady here. Here in the yellow? Sorry. It's a little bit like being in the cinema. There you go. Oh, he's going the other way.
Hi. On the migration issue, but this is specific, not about the migration, but in say we come together and have a migration strategy, what would be your take on the way that we should integrate and go forward with assimilating, integrating, or using multiculturalism and sort of keeping people's religions and races separate from the indigenous population?
Okay, so I think, thank you, and it's an important one, and somebody was going to raise it. I think it's a very general question about migration within the context of European policy and the party's view. Can I turn to you first, please, Sim Kallas?
First, today's situation is quite like a chaos. And John Stuart Mill has said that freedom is not a chaos, or liberty is not a chaos. So my first task is to fight chaos back, to have things under control. And then we can defend freedoms. Otherwise, we cannot defend freedoms. This is one thing. About the integration of migrants and people from other countries, one thing is allow them to work. If we keep these people constantly in the camps, then it's hopeless. But at least we must give them a chance also to work in our countries. And this is not, at least in many countries I know, this is very, very much restricted.
Thank you. Hans van Baalen, what would you like to say to us about migration?
The fact is, when I campaigned for the European elections 2009, I had a young boy who was driving me across the country. His name was Mohammed, and he speaks better Dutch than I do. A sympathetic young man wanted to study, to be actively part of society. And he said, and this hit me in the heart, I have to say goodbye to the old traditions of my family about inequality, etc. But I'm not accepted by your people, the Dutch in general, so I'm in between. And I never thought of this, that he is discriminated silently. So we should fight all discrimination. We may ask of people, of course, to speak the language of the land to get a job, of course, but it is rights and it's duties, but also for us. We can't let those people be alone. We have to be united. So many Hungarians came to the Netherlands. They are citizens of my country. They have contributed. And the same with Mohammed. We should be proud of him. Thank you.
Okay, I can take another question. Yes, the gentleman here. Hang on. Okay. Yeah, he's got his own.
My name is Rudi Rennstein, German, and in Germany it was a splendid idea of Ludwig Erhard, the social market economy. It was a success story for Germany during all the decades. Could this be a model, success model for Europe?
Thank you very much. Hans van Baalen, could this model in Germany be one for Europe?
Of course, because we don't believe in the Margaret Thatcher economy. We don't believe in the privatization of Margaret Thatcher, leaving so many people get lost. So, of course, we want a free market, but those people who are not able to get to it, those people who are invalid or are pensioned or whatever, they should be helped. So indeed, we should have a strong economy to help those who can't make it. So Erhard, unfortunately not a liberal, but a liberal-minded man, is an example of how we should do it. Thank you, Rudi.
Hans mentioned Ludwig Erhard, and I totally share the views of Ludwig Erhard in this regard. And look the results, or look the picture today. German economic model is the best in Europe and works very well. So we have always to find balance between market economy and social security and social interests.
Okay, thank you, gentlemen. I'm now just going to inform. We've had a question come in on Twitter, so I'm going to take it live. And the question that's come in is, what will these gentlemen do, whoever is voted president, in the first 100 days of the post? Good question. So, I'm turning back to you, Sim Kallas. What are your plans for the first 100 days if you are voted president?
Two things. One, I have so many times now stated that we need to develop pan-European liberal policies which can benefit everybody, also member parties, and will be visible through all European political atmosphere. So I start immediately to work with these policies. What can be done, what can be designed as a concrete proposal, one thing. Second thing, what I also have said today is, of course, we need more money. And I will start to work with all possible sources what are legally available to increase because there are legal bases exist, and with this legal basis to have more resources for party. So these will be these two things I will start to do immediately.
Thank you, Sim Kallas. Hans van Baalen, what will you focus on in your first 100 days if you are elected president?
The first thing would be that I do not ask the member parties to come to me. I will go to the member parties to visit them and to talk how we will write the new manifesto for the European elections, because I wanted, it's an all-party thing. So I will go to the Scandinavian countries and ask, you are more successful in involving women. What is the secret? I will go to countries which have that strong market economy to see how can we do it. I will go to strong parties which can campaign well and say what can we do with the others. And what I will not do, I will not go to private enterprise to ask money, because I want to talk with private enterprise about their ideas, their input. But if I get money, then the input is invalid. So I want to have money, but I don't want to combine it with policy. Thank you very much.
Okay, we have time? We have time for one more question. There was somebody waving manic. Look, you see, I saw you. Okay. I apologize. I'm taking a question from this lady here. Yes.
Hello, Sal Brinton from the UK. We prize honesty a great deal in liberalism, even if the message is difficult. So, what is the biggest mistake that each of you has made as a politician, and what did you learn from it?
I sort of feel that could only have been asked by a woman. That's a very, very good question. Thank you. Hans van Baalen, I turn to you first.
You ask one example. When being a young member of parliament, I thought that I should go up very fast. So I made deals with political parties and didn't inform our leader and the management of the group. So I want to say we should be united. We should discuss, but no lone wolves. I've learned this the hard way. Thank you.
Sim Kallas, the same question to you, please.
Yeah, of course there is not too many things I regret, but there is one thing I really regret when we first entered a governmental coalition and as a junior partner. And actually our main, the coalition leader party, made some unacceptable deals, political deals for us, and then we decided to leave the coalition. And I think that later this coalition partner failed totally, and people said that, why did you leave? You could stay and lead the government now, but we already were in opposition. So I simply say that Uffe Ellemann-Jensen, whom probably many of you know, he said to me that, come on, are you crazy? If you are in government, you must keep your chair and not to leave. This was in 2000, when? It was 1996.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Right. I'm now going to park things there. My apologies to those of you who I did not take questions from, but you do have time to pose them directly yourself. Plenty of time before you vote tomorrow. I'm now going to pose a question to the two candidates that came in on Twitter. Now, we did look at rights, so I'm not going to ask about that, but I'm perhaps going to combine two questions. One on the party structure and one on thoughts on an ever closer union. So I'm going to turn around now and face you both. There was a question which was, should we have a party structure from city to member state to union? So ALDE London, ALDE UK, ALDE EU. So one liberal party. And I'm giving you the chance because you've been so quick, both of you. Do you subscribe to the goal of an ever closer union? So if you can answer those two questions, please, in 3 minutes.
Oh, yes. Of course, I am always been in favor of strong Europe, and also I am in favor of ever stronger union. And we are going in this direction anyway. So, of course, our location is determining our attitude to this. We need strong union, and Estonia wants to be a member of strong union. And if it goes towards a stronger and more ever closer union or closer union, I totally support this. About the party structure, I think that I don't have any idea to change the party structure at this moment. And what is our problem is that, of course, we are very fragmented still. We have, if you compare the structure of EPP or Social Democrats, then you see that they have much more homogeneous structure of parties, but this is our nature, so we should have also different parties from different countries. So no revolutionary ideas about party structure. For ever closer union, yes.
Thank you. Hans van Baalen, I turn to you with the same two questions.
Yeah. I don't know whether the Liberal Democrats in the United Kingdom can win the in campaign if they're called ALDE UK. I don't know. What I want to do is from bottom up, not from us in Brussels saying we should do this, but let the member parties make those decisions. So I want not to be a structured party in the case that we are a force, but that we copy Social Democrats. In the variety lies our strengths, and that I want to do as party chair. Ever closer union on those things that matter really, like peace, like equality, yes. Like things we can do at home, no. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, gentlemen. Right, so you've heard from both the candidates. We've covered really quite a lot of ground, so you can see that I didn't stick to my rules at all, but I hope that you've heard an awful lot that will help to crystallize your thoughts when you vote tomorrow. And to reiterate again, of course, you can continue to pose questions after this debate and before the vote. So I'd now like to release these two gentlemen from the spotlight. A warm round of applause to both of them. Gentlemen, please take your seats.
You are good. You are very good. But anyway.